I'm just about to meet one blogger, video blogger. You'll just see it in her in a moment, and she's going to ask some questions about real estate, and mainly about real estate and about living in Tallinn. So I'll post it right after that, and also I'll post the link to her channel. So you can see the content. She has really nice videos about Tallinn and about living in Tallinn through her perspective. So thumbs up and see you in the next video.
It's really nice meeting you.
Yes, it's really nice meeting you.
As well.
I'm really happy that you reached out.
Me too, yeah. So, can you tell us a tiny bit about, first of all, who is allowed to rent an apartment in Tallinn for long term? Do you need any special paperwork, residency, or anyone can do it?
Yes, the owners have actually to make sure that the tenant has all the legal rights to stay in Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise there are no limitations who can rent.
Oh, that's
But
perfect.
it has to be he has to have legal grounds.
Oh, perfect.
Mhm.
And so, which we usually newcomers try to find a house in websites. And first of all, I want to know, are there any other ways apart from websites to find a new house, or no, we just do it online?
Everything is online, but you can use the websites which are most common in Estonia. But on top of that, you can also use Facebook.
Oh, okay. And which website do you recommend you work with and you're comfortable with and you think it's legit?
There are some specifics that, for example, if you use, like there are 3 main websites. I don't want to advertise them, but certain websites get some of the information a bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even recommend for the would-be renter to contact maybe a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Because they have also some contacts which are for rentals which are not even advertised.
Mm-hmm.
And since the renter, that is the it is how it works in Estonia, that the renter usually pays the brokerage fee.
Oh,
That
okay.
is like kind of historic way they have set up in Estonia. I know that a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
But at the moment that's the status quo. So, but if you take a real estate agent, then he will represent you, and actually it's not going to increase the brokerage fees at all.
Oh,
Because
that's perfect.
they will split the brokerage between those who represents the renter
Yeah.
and this who represents the owner. Otherwise, when you just call, the best properties are usually advertised by real estate agents anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The renter just does not have anyone who represents him. And there are some details which real estate agents know better. For example, the law has changed since this year. So a lot of owners, they maybe are not applying the new sets of laws. But we as real estate agents we know the changes, and we apply them in the contracts. Because some owners can also include points which are illegal in the contracts. And if you're coming like a new person in Estonia, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can sign it, it's not legal, you don't have to follow that.
Yeah.
But,
So since you mentioned contract, I just want to know, you usually have the expenses apart from rent, it's written in the
Yes.
contract, like bills or whatever. I've seen something like renovation price they add to our rent, and I'm wondering what are, apart from bills that everyone knows the renter should pay for it, are there any other hidden expenses we should know or the owner should pay?
That is how the law actually changed.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, last law was that most of the expenses could not be, for example, which are connected with the property, could not be passed on to the renter. But now some of them can already be passed to the renter. So this is the change in the law. And I would advise every renter to ask real bills from last year, not just to believe some number you are being told.
Yeah.
And to confirm that in advance, what he should pay and what is to be paid by the owner. Because now there can be different attitudes depending on the owner.
No, it's good to know that one. And let's talk about areas. I want to know, first of all, where is the best area, like the most expensive, and where is the cheapest area in Tallinn? Do you like? I know areas are really wide, and you just can't say this is the best or worst. But I want to know your perspective.
Now, more valued are new buildings as general, because new buildings have better amenities, they have lower expenses. So it might be, for example, some buildings at Pirita near the Song Festival grounds are very sought for. They go for like 2,500 euros a month, or 3,000 even.
Wow.
But with a seaside view, like luxury interiors and parkings, and you can find those areas with if you see the cars, which park.
Oh, okay.
But usually now is even not the areas, but like if it's a new building with some certain luxury in it, it is in more demand, and the rest depends on the renter.
Yeah.
Because historically, at some point, for example, Old Town was very appreciated. Everybody wanted to live in the Old Town. But now, not that many people. If you want to rent long term, because of like too many tourists, bad infrastructure, sewage from the 16th century, maybe not even that good internet connection in some Old Town buildings. But for example, if you value the Old Town and the view, then you value it more, and it also depends from building to building to building. So there are like amazing expensive buildings in Old Town still.
That's good to know. Do you can you like suggest 2 or 3 areas for new students who are coming to Tallinn?
Students, yes. We are also offering some rooms in shared apartments, which are amazingly popular. At the first I was like skeptical, who would like to live together? But there is kind of camaraderie, and you come in a foreign country, maybe by yourself. You have somebody who is already been there. You have like this information sharing, which is valued. Those students, they appreciate the city center. Okay. So closer is to the Old Town or to the university. Yeah. But we have some apartment in Sakala. 16, which like, some students or even people who are working in the tech industry, they also like a shared apartment. And if there's a great demand for student accommodation in a separate apartments at Mustamäe, because there is the tech university, Taltech. Yeah, it's close. And the other is Narva Mante 13, because there is a campus over there. Yeah. So this is kind of local.
And do you suggest like the same areas for families with kids, or no? Do you have other suggestions, better residential areas?
Năme is very popular residential area amongst the local population, Estonians. But I don't think that foreigners value it that much, because it's kind of a rural feel to that, and it's like in the forest. Yes, it depends. For example, schools, kindergartens are important. Yeah. If you have a good school or a kindergarten, this will increase the value. One area close to Tallinn, VMC, which is actually outside of Tallinn.
Yeah.
So you have to consider that. Do you want to participate in the free transportation scheme which is only for Tallinn?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. So VMC seems kind of in, but it's actually a neighboring borough, and also some Petri, some other areas. They are kind of neighboring. So you have to consider that too. And for like those who are coming from abroad, for them it might be very important that can you be registered in the apartment, because this gives you the right for the free transportation.
Yes.
And as a foreign student you are even obliged. And there comes also some boroughs might not allow you to register for whatever reason, either the registration, how is is it apartment or is it like a business premises, which we talked in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
That if it's like for business purposes apartment, which you cannot see from outside, it's like as apartment, just different in registration. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. So that was a really interesting point you mentioned. Is this like being able to register? Is it something written in the contract, or no? You just have to verbally confirm it with the real estate.
Better to verbally confirm it.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't know that. In Tallinn, it was before that you, if you had only the contract, you could go to the Tallinn city government and they could register you based on the contract only. Yeah. But now the owner has also to give his permission.
Oh, no.
So it's not enough, because there were some scams, or like too many people registered without the owners knowing.
Yeah. Because
it was too easy. You just make a contract and you go register and that's it. So they changed the law. Now the owner has to give his confirmation.
Well, that's really important to know, because without registration you cannot get your residency, you cannot get your use public transportation for free. You can't do any. I think you actually are not able to open a bank account as well, because you don't have that one. Yeah, it's really important. And I have one last question. For me, as a newcomer, what should I look in an apartment when I'm trying to rent a new apartment? Is there anything I should pay attention, like flooring or windows, or any tricks that it makes my experience better when I'm living in this house? Mm-hmm. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was back in Australia, it was a tip that it usually passed through the agents that it's better to look for a house that has a carpet flooring, because they don't have heating system there, and wood flooring would get super cold during winter.
Yes, that is a good tip, and because the winter is so long.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, the heating costs can break the bank. So look for the costs for the heating.
Okay.
Maybe even not what kind of heating it is. Because, for example, if it's a heat pump, it can be also a very low cost. But if it's only electric heating, then it might be a problem. Because the costs are running too high. The rest is also, is it in Tallinn or outside Tallinn, about the registration.
Yeah.
Very important, are you allowed. And also a bit of the attitude of the owner. Is he going to look into every dent and cranny?
Yeah.
Because, for example, if you come into a building and he tells you that, okay, everything was perfect at the moment, and you can feel that he like wants you to live like in a museum, then I would advise to pass, take some more relaxed owner, because everything can happen. You can like touch the or make like a small dent somewhere by accident. It shouldn't be a problem. It's thing to use. And yes, these are the main tips I would give.
Well, thank you so much for putting this time and giving us all this information. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. You're always welcome.